It was a night that made the city feel impossibly empty. Streetlights flickered across wet streets, and the hum of the subway beneath seemed louder than usual. I had just lost someone I couldn't stop thinking about. Every day since felt colder, lonelier. And tonight, like so many nights, I found myself walking toward the station, carrying only a tired heart and a ticket for the last train. The platform was quiet, almost unnaturally so. A few scattered commuters waited, faces pale in the dim light. The rumble of the approaching train made my chest tighten, not with fear, but with the hollow hope that moving through the darkness might make the loneliness disappear. I didn't know then that this train wasn't just taking me home. It was taking me somewhere I would never forget, and perhaps somewhere I would never return from. At first, everything seemed normal. Stations flashed by, each name familiar, or so I thought. But soon the lights began to flicker, the familiar hum of the subway turning into something wrong. The passengers around me grew quieter. Some stared straight ahead, eyes empty, faces pale. I tried to catch their gaze, but they looked through me, as if seeing something I couldn't. The tunnel walls shifted. Smooth concrete gave way to old, moss-streaked bricks. Faded signs in Cyrillic appeared, letters peeling from time itself. Something about it felt deliberate. A distant crackle over the PA system sent a shiver down my spine. Faint whispers of words I didn't understand, or maybe didn't want to. Each stop passed, yet we weren't slowing. The train was moving faster than any schedule, deeper into the darkness, and I realized with a sinking heart, this wasn't a normal ride. The air grew heavier, thick with dust and something metallic, like old machinery forgotten for decades. And then I remembered the rumors. Stories of Cold War underground experiments, secret trains that never returned. My pulse quickened. Whatever this was, it wasn't just a subway line. It was a trap, and I was already on board. The train didn't slow. Each station passed without stopping, names changing from familiar words to faded Cyrillic letters I couldn't read. My heart raced as I gripped the cold metal pole, trying to make sense of what was happening. The other passengers were still silent, faces pale and eyes vacant, as though they had been on this ride before. Or worse, they were part of it. That's when I remembered the stories, whispers from decades ago, rumors of secret Cold War experiments, entire subway lines built not for the public, but for transporting things the world was never meant to see. Some trains were designed never to return, carrying cargo or people into deep hidden tunnels where time itself seemed suspended. My pulse quickened. I had heard these stories as a child, dismissed them as urban legends, but now they were happening before my eyes. The walls of the tunnel changed again. Concrete turned to rusted steel beams, pipes running like veins along the ceiling. Faded control panels peeked out from the shadows, their lights long dead, but the faint buzz of electricity still lingered. I could feel it in my chest, a cold vibration of machines that hadn't been touched in decades. Somewhere in the darkness, an old PA system crackled, a distorted voice whispering fragments I couldn't understand, half Russian, half static. I tried to speak to the other passengers, but their heads didn't turn. Their eyes, dull and lifeless, passed right through me. Some murmured words I couldn't hear, faces twitching unnaturally like marionettes. My stomach churned. The isolation of the moment, the deafening silence broken only by the train's rumble, made the fear unbearable. I was completely alone, surrounded by shadows that were alive in ways I couldn't explain. Then, something even stranger happened. The train slowed slightly, and I saw a station emerge ahead. not on any map I had ever seen. Red emergency lights flickered along the platform, casting a dim glow on rusted machinery and decaying walls. The station looked frozen in time, remnants of a secret the world had long forgotten. I caught sight of a sign, half peeling from the wall, the word "experiment," faintly visible in Cyrillic. My blood ran cold. Somewhere deep in my mind, I realized that I wasn't just a passenger. I had become part of whatever had been left behind, an unintentional subject in a Cold War experiment that had never truly ended. Every instinct screamed at me to run, to escape, but the doors wouldn't budge. I was trapped, a spectator in a machine built for something I couldn't yet understand. And then the train lights flickered one last time, before plunging the car into near darkness. A faint red glow pulsed in the distance, and I knew, with absolute certainty, that this ride was far from over. Whatever this experiment had been, it had chosen me, and I had no idea how, or if, I would ever leave. The train slowed almost imperceptibly and finally came to a stop. But this station, it wasn't on any map. Rusted steel beams arched overhead, pipes groaning with each tremor, and the platform was bathed in an unnatural red light. Shadows shifted where no one should be. I looked closer and froze. Figures sat along the platform benches, motionless, pale, faceless, and yet some felt hauntingly familiar, like echoes of people I had known. My breath hitched. The distorted PA system crackled, a voice whispering in broken Russian. "Experiment resumed. All subjects please disembark." Panic surged through me, but the doors wouldn't open. My heart thudded in my chest. Every instinct screamed that this was no longer a ride home. It was a trap. Around me, the passengers shifted, faces contorting unnaturally, like marionettes under invisible strings. I realized with icy dread that the train had chosen its passengers, and we were part of a secret that had survived decades, hidden beneath the city. I gripped the pole, feeling the cold steel bite my hands as a single thought hammered in my mind. This place, this experiment, it was alive, watching, waiting. And I was trapped in its shadows, a visitor in a world no one above ground could ever comprehend. Hours later, the train emerged back onto the surface, as if it had never left. But when I glanced around the car, it was empty. Every passenger, every shadow, had vanished. The seats were cold, untouched, and the red glow from before was gone, leaving only the harsh, sterile light of the city above. I stepped onto the platform, heart still hammering, searching for any trace of what had happened. There was nothing. No signs, no warnings, no answers. Only the faint smell of rust and the echo of a train that might never stop again. And then I realized the worst part. I was not alone in remembering. Somewhere, deep beneath the city, the tunnels waited. The train still ran, silent, endless, choosing its passengers one by one, waiting for the next soul brave or foolish enough to board. Some say it is just a legend. Others whisper that the train waits tonight and every night after. The choice is yours. Would you step on board, knowing the journey may never end?